Hey guys, MetalDriver89 here bringing you a DC Multiverse review. And today, I'll be looking at the Mcfarlane Toys Batman Arkham Asylum figure. So looking at the front of the box, you see Batman through the window of the box, along with the DC Multiverse logo. The back of the box features an image of Batman from the Arkham Asylum video game, along with the rest of the figures that are in this wave. Alright, so before we get into the review, I want to make a note that I will be making a custom cape for this Batman figure. And then after I review this, I'll go ahead and put that cape on this figure so we can see how that looks. So now that we have looked at the front and back of the box, let's go ahead and open this up and take a closer look at Batman. Alright, and here is the Batman figure out of the packaging. But first, let's take a look at the accessories that he comes with. So he comes with a ton of accessories, which includes a base stand with the DC logo, a card that features the same image of Batman from the back of the box. Then on the back of the card, it has a bio read-up, so you can go ahead and pause and read it for yourself if you'd like. Then the other accessories that he comes with include a grapnel launcher, an open batarang, a folded batarang, and a bomb canister, all of which fit in his hands, and the batarangs fit in both of his hands. Alright, and taking a closer look at the head sculpt, it's sculpted pretty well. It looks very spot on to how he looks like in the Arkham Asylum video game. So the head is very narrow, and I have seen some people complain about it, but again, it is stylized based on the video game. So again, we get some good detail, some nice paintwork on the face. You've got more than just one solid color, so you've got some pink or beige along with the skin tone, so it gives it kind of a rosy look. Paint on the lips look really good. The eyes look painted pretty good as well. So the sculpt work on the head looks really good. The ears are nice and long. They don't bend too easily, so that's good. Then looking at the rest of the body, sculpt work looks really good. I like it. I know some people have complained online that the proportions are a bit off. Personally, I don't really see that it looks too bad. Again, it is stylized based on the game. I do think the DC Direct version had better proportions, but I still think this looks pretty good. So you've got some nice sculpt work all over the body. So you've got lines going across the arms, on the torso as well. The paint on the gauntlets and gloves look really good. It's got this gunmetal look on the gauntlets. The bat logo is sculpted on, so it's not just painted, so that's good. The belt has this nice gold color. It's not just a solid plastic looking piece. It doesn't look cheap. So it's got some nice shading in there. Some dry brushing as well. Goes all through the back. You've got the lines going down the legs as well. The boots look pretty good. Nice sculpt work here on the straps. The front of the shins. We see this gunmetal paint here. Then the shoes have some nice sculpt work. Then looking at the plastic cape. So it's got a lot of sculpt work on here. It's got this texture that makes it look like leather. So that looks really cool. So overall, I'm really impressed with the sculpt work of this figure. I think it looks pretty good in my opinion. As I've said, a lot of people online were complaining. I do see that the shoulders do look a little bulbous. The deltoids kind of pop out, so that looks a bit off. I do agree that the legs seem a little blocky or too thin. Now I don't have the original DC Direct line. I didn't collect those, so I don't have that to compare it with, but from the photos that I've seen, it doesn't really look too far off from those figures. And considering this is a $20 figure that's a retail figure that you can find in almost any retail store, I think this is a pretty good looking figure for that price. I'm pretty satisfied with how it looks. I like the paintwork, I like the sculpt work, and it's nice that they're giving us figures from the Arkham games. Alright, then going over the articulation. So the head is on a ball joint, so it can look that high up, go that far down. It can twist side to side. It can also tilt. The shoulders have a hinge, so it can go that far out. It can, in theory, rotate all the way around. However, the plastic of the cape on the shoulder kind of hinders that articulation. There's a bicep swivel. He has a single jointed elbow, which is actually pretty tight on my figure. He has a butterfly joint, which allows for extra movement in the shoulder. The wrist has a hinge and it can swivel. There is articulation in two parts in the torso. So there's this upper diaphragm articulation, so allows for slight crunch forward, slight crunch back, can tilt from side to side and twist. The lower part near the waist, he can crunch a little bit further forward, slightly back, and it doesn't seem like it can move that much side to side, so not a proper waist swivel. So I don't know if there is full articulation down there, there, or if mine is just stuck in place. So that is a bit disappointing that he doesn't have a ton of range in the torso. Looking at the legs, they can go that far out. It can go that high up. And I've seen a lot of people complain that the McFarlane Toys don't have thigh articulation. Now, it doesn't have a thigh swivel, but from what I've seen from this figure, from what I can feel, there is slight articulation here in the upper thigh. It does appear to be hidden. My guess is that a lot of these McFarlane toy figures, they do have the articulation, so as you can see with this left leg, can twist a little bit. But from my experience, a lot of them tend to be frozen, stiff, or just very tight. So as you can see with the McFarlane's comic book Batman, this thigh can rotate pretty well. Then looking at the knees, he has double jointed knees, which has a really good range of motion. There is a hinge at the ankle, which allows it to go that far down, that high up. There is slight ankle pivot, and he has toe articulation. Alright, and here's the Arkham City Batman next to the McFarlane Toys comic book Superman and Batman figure. And it scales pretty well with the two. I might actually use this as my stand-in Batman figure next to this Superman figure. And here he is next to the McFarlane Toys Nightwing and Batgirl figures. Here he is next to a DC Essentials Batman figure. Here he is next to the NECA Arkham City Harley Quinn. And here he is next to the Arkham City Batman and Catwoman figures by Mattel. And he is taller than the Arkham City Batman, but as you can see, he actually scales pretty well with Catwoman. Catwoman's actually almost taller than the Mattel Batman figure. So I think this Catwoman figure looks pretty good with this figure. And here he is next to the DC Collectibles Arkham Knight Batman with custom head and custom cape. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on the Arkham Asylum Batman figure? I think it's a pretty good figure. Again, I've seen a lot of people complain about this. Me personally, for a $20 figure that's retail, it's a pretty good figure. Yes, the proportions on the shoulders and the legs do seem a bit off. However, to me, it's not as bad as some people are making it seem. For a figure that's $20, I think this is really good, especially with the articulation that he comes with, the sculpt work, the amount of accessories that he has, and the sheer size of the figure. It's a pretty solid figure, so I think if you're a Batman fan, you should definitely pick this up. Alright, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to go ahead and cut this plastic cape off and put on my custom cape that I made. Alright, and here's the Arkham Asylum Batman with my custom cape. And I will say he does look better with the soft goods cape on. He's got this nice wingspan, so I was able to put in the curves here, the scallops of the cape. So here you can see a better image of the wingspan of the cape. So I think that turned out pretty well. Definitely makes the Batman figure look better in my opinion. Would have liked the sides to be a little longer, but I kind of messed that up. Then here he is with his cape draped down, so that looks pretty cool. In getting this cape on, I did have to heat up the figure, and I was able to loosen up the waist here, so he is able to now twist it down here. It does seem like there's a ball joint there, so it allows for rotation and some slight crunching. And also, I was able to loosen up the thigh cut a bit, so it can twist. I'm suspecting if I heat it up a little more, I'd be able to loosen that up, but it is there. So again, I do think this Batman figure is worth picking up. If you are able to make your own custom capes, or if you know of a good customizer that makes capes, I know there are several of them on social media and even eBay, I would suggest picking a custom cape up and putting it on this Batman figure. I think it makes the figure look much better, and I already think that it's a pretty solid figure to pick up anyway. So if you like this review, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, I mostly do WWE reviews. However, if I see enough engagement on these McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures, I may start doing more reviews on them. As always, stay tuned till the end to see pictures of this figure in action, and I'll see you next time.